Welcome to the shop. We got a new toy. I think you're gonna like it. It's light! Can you see me better? I can't see you as well. It's a very bright light.
Welcome to Warped Legacy.
So after letting this thing cool off and messing with it for a little bit, I have figured out that I didn't thin this part out enough, so I need to get this end hot again and stretch it out a little bit more. And I have also figured out that I have the balance way off. I have it too front heavy, which stretching this out is going to make that even worse. But originally my plan was to forge the taper in, and that would put more of a curve. I did it a little bit, but it's just got a very slight curve now, and that's because I just flattened this side a little bit and didn't flatten this side. So because this side got stretched out and this one didn't, it put a little curve in it. But now instead of going back and doing more of that, I am going to grind the taper into it, and that'll hopefully take off enough metal that it'll fix the balance issues that I'm having. All right, let's get her hot. So since my cheater fluid is empty, we're going to start the charcoal with this. I didn't think that one through. I just had the camera clipped onto this, so I was using this as my tripod, and now I need to use it to light. So can't do both at the same time. Okay, so this thing is still way too heavy out here. The balance is up way higher than I want it to be. So what we're going to end up doing is come up here and cut this out. It'll have kind of a funky look at the end. It looks kind of cool, but doesn't have the look that I want, but we're going for function over form. Alright, this blade's going to work right, and it's going to be easy to handle. Project took a bit of a change. I took a piece of this stuff over here, about yay long, and I was just gonna tack it in there and put a tack here and a tack here and then do a cord wrap in the end. Well, then once I did that, the width felt really good in my hand. So after looking at it, I went, if I was making this for me, I would run a bead up and down here. So I'm not gonna make something for someone else that's not as good as what I would make for myself. So I ran the bead up and down here so it was welded on solid. And then I went, that actually feels pretty good. And this side ground pretty, when I ground it down, it ground pretty smooth and felt pretty good in the hand. So I went, I'm gonna run another bead up here and then do it flat. So this is what the other side looks like now. And I'm gonna do this on both sides. So this turned from a real quick thing that I'm just gonna do it and then I'll tell you about it at the end because all I'm gonna do is tack a piece on, to a pretty major part of the project that got out of control while I wasn't filming. So what I'm gonna do now is run that other bead here, fill this in a little bit. I haven't decided whether I'm gonna put another piece here or if I'm just gonna fill that in with weld. I'm gonna fill this in down here. But then that handle is gonna be all connected and all one piece. So let's get moving. I'm putting this in here because all I have is a flux core welder and that puts off a lot of weld splatter. So I don't want to get that all up here. So this is just to guard so I don't get a ton of weld spatter up here, even though it might even spatter over it because that's how much this stuff spatters. So, in the process of making this big old chopper thing here, I have been chasing my mistakes the entire time. And every single mistake was a stupid mistake that I shouldn't have made in the first place. First off, when I cut it out the full length. So then I chopped it off, and then I realized when I got it to the length that I wanted again, I still didn't have it thin enough, so the balance was all off. So I had to chop the end to do the balance right. The balance was still wrong, so I thickened out the end. So now this thing is a monster. It's huge and heavy, and now I'm at the point of getting ready to heat treat it, and I realize I haven't made anything with this spring yet. Every time I get a new spring, I need to test how it hardens. I did not do a test with this spring. So hopefully, I'm gonna heat it up and test on this piece here, and hopefully it'll harden really good. Otherwise, this whole thing is pretty much a waste. Now my quench right now is just used motor oil. It does tend to flare up when you use it, but
It works. You just got to be careful of the flames, get everything that's flammable away from it, and know what's going to happen. So far, every time I've used it, it has worked wonderfully. It's also a good idea to have one of these on hand. Okay, now we're going to do 2 tests with this. 1. Alright, I like that. Second test I'm going to do is just stick it in the vise and see if it bends or breaks or what it does when you put some pressure on it. Oh, that means it's hard and brittle, which is a good thing for this. This hasn't been tempered yet. After it's been tempered, it won't be that brittle. Which means I can do the knife and it wasn't a huge waste of time!
Well, that was a fun project. And this is some good pineapple. That's all I got this week. Go away. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.